Thank you all for being here. And thanks to Malvern Books for giving us a day to do this. Move around this. Kathleen Pierce, my colleague, was going to read here. She was unable to be here today, so I thought about her. And Kathleen grew up in Rock Island, Illinois. And there was a year in 1960 and 61 when I lived right across the river from her in Davenport, Iowa. And we had this big bridge there that was very, very scary. And it was, my dad worked at the arsenal on the island, and that was the way he got across to the island was on this bridge. And it was when I was 6, it scared the hell out of me because it had to make a room for the ferries to go through and things. So I wrote this poem in sort of commemoration of that bridge. It's called Government Bridge. Old as the town, the iron swing bridge was a dreadful cantilevered relic with bars, pulleys, and a deep, fearful air of the mechanical sublime. It rattled me in childhood, hulking impersonally across from its bank on the island like a rusting dinosaur. Far more frightful at night when the wide river ran past town in darkness. A constant shh one couldn't unhear, making us see it even more vividly inward. Out of dense night air and the eternal pulse of river, a plaintive horn would signal. A red light would appear in the distance, and the bridge would go into its clanking, clattering motion, a dirge of metallic scrapes along unseen tracks, lopsided pulleys, as half the bridge soon stood alone across the way, and the nearer half swung broadside to the flow. Soon the dimly lit passing craft, barge most often or riverboat, would glide noiselessly through. From a bank, we could see the other side of a severed highway in darkness. A few lonely sprinkled lights suspended there. The road itself like an abruptly halted thought. A sheer drop in space to the unseen abyss below. We held our breath in fear of non-endings, but in time, the inhuman creak and iron shudder of the retracted side would commence again in reverse. The intersected commerce of road to the island itself would resume its duty, while starless night and river, joined, surged on. There's actually a film of that on, there's a film of this bridge on YouTube, and I went back not too long ago and looked at it, and I thought, why the hell was I scared of that? You know? But, you know, when you're 6 years old, I'm afraid of it sometimes. Okay, I'm just going to read a few poems here. This is called Southern Male Novelist. I published this poem in Arkansas Review, and the editors wrote me back and said, we're all drawing odds as to who you're talking about here. And it's not about anybody in particular, I just had it in mind. He comes along, steeped in guns and bourbon, whiskey drinking, John boats, knife throwing, the text of proving ground for manhood, the story of a heavy-handed father who loved but couldn't say or show it. Instead of blasting small animals, he fires chapters, reams of paper at the dark. There's incest in the family and the wide swath of insanity. His voice is the flat crack of a rifle. Does that sound like any novelist you've ever heard? I don't know who it was. This is real nasty. I'm going to read this one. I think we have the debate coming up tonight. This is called Poison. Here, they said, take this, dark and thick, swung at me in a spoon, a substance like pitch. I looked and shook my head. No. But why should you be different or difficult? Here, they said. No, I said, and balked. They opened the records, and sure enough, there was the past. They showed me the great machines, the unmistakable dark markings of my own hands. So, here, they said, soon you'll thank us. They smiled. The spoon swung round again. I opened my mouth. How many of you guys are going to watch the debate tonight? I'm going to be inoculated before I do. Let's see. Okay, this is a fairly recent poem from a couple of years ago called Jukebox. When I was little and we used to drive across Highway 82 going from Texarkana to Lubbock where my grandparents lived, there was a, you know, they had those little diners out there, and my dad would always, he was one of those people that always put the money in and they had those little things at your table, you know, where you play the jukebox. So this is a kind of a tribute to those. A dime, I recall, kicked off the methodical buzz, clunk, chunk as the chosen music selected from a horizontal stack, whisked nimbly upward, flipped, flapjack-like, and sat down on the turning spindle, upon which Elvis crooned Love Me Tender, Pat Boone sang Moody River, or Connie Francis warbled Where the Boys Are, and road songs mixed with platter clink and semi-back break somewhere down fallen Highway 82 along one especially ruinous, sparsely populated basalt gypsum stretch beyond Dallas, the other side of the Caprock. We'd finish our plate at BLT or over easy eggs and blueberry pancakes, then one more song for the road, Rick Nelson Traveling Man, Nelson Riddle theme to Route 66, and we'd leave a half-drunk cup of Ace Black coffee and a quarter tip for the waitress. Head again down that long, straight, narrow, aimed at a fidgeting star, and follow hot road stripes, spearing miles through our eyes, while we hum tunes of open space, robotic, endless, and easy. I have this habit of starting on manuscripts and getting a good head of steam and writing about 8 or 10 poems and then completely running out of steam on that particular idea. So I have all these blobs of poems sitting around that are in manuscripts that aren't ready to send out yet. But this is one that I want to send out eventually. It's called, the manuscript's called The Beech Tree, and it's just a bunch of reminiscences from growing up in the country when I was young. This is the title poem, The Beech Tree, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I would like to have found the beech tree, rumored by the previous owner to exist somewhere on this land. Never quite sure where it was, he never found it himself, nor provided us a map, verbal or literal, though he was sure it was there, somewhere. Years I crashed through tons of leaves and woods, searching out of the way places. No sign. I was certain it would signal me by sound, singular humming, thousands of bees in one place at work, holed up in some massive log or hickory trunk, or the front split open like a mansion door, the wood charred by lightning or fire. In my mind, the tree still rises like legend. Its energy fills the backwoods like unverified gossip. What I found are mute acres, trees, pathless routes, groves, small growth rising from the cedary floor in pure uneventfulness, while the legend hums elsewhere, elusive, a product of pure hearsay, passed down to us over years, owner to owner, filling our minds with buzzing curiosity, our brains like hives overworked with things we want but cannot be certain are so. Okay, I'll read two more here. I'll read this one. If you've ever had children, you probably, at least the first time you went through Lamaze Class, and then you got into the birth room and completely abandoned everything. So I wrote a description. I was living in Austin when my wife got pregnant the first time, so we'd have to go to Lamaze down here, and it was lots of fun. It was like a sleepover each week. We'd meet nights in the damp underroom of some bank, the wives round in sweats like swollen mangoes, the doting husbands beautiful and close at hand, servile drones, holding pillows, covers, giddily expecting as children before Christmas. We hunched and listened as coach taught the wives to breathe, the husbands to coax and soothe like coxswains. How quickly we became a unit, a graduating class, our senior trip, a one-way cruise into parenthood. Then the wives would recline on the floor as if to be read a bedtime story, and we'd practice. Too innocent, we didn't yet know love that the strange whoos, he's, and whistles coach taught you, you'd end up discarding quick in due time when the time came, and you'd ask first, drowsily, for Demerol, then demand in full grand blare of birth pain the epidural administered by a bearded anesthesiologist who, like an artist admiring his work, stood in the birth room doorway gauging the neural stupor he had induced on you. There was something vivid, giddy, childlike those nights in thinking we could birth together naturally, man and woman as one, joined in belief breath itself could arrest one body's epic pain. Those were the days. I'm going to finish with a Haiku, which is a Japanese form. I've been writing a lot of Japanese forms. I just hit a point about 10 years ago where I wanted to do something different, and I turned to Japanese forms because I wanted brevity. And so I've been working in this form. I fell in love with this form a lot, and I've been working with it a whole lot, and have had quite a bit of, have not been able to get out of it basically in a lot of ways. So this one's called A Professor's Dream. It's sort of based on, I keep having dreams of retirement, even though I'm like 10 years away from it. You know? And I also, at the same time, in some of the dreams, I'm a graduate student. So I sort of go both ways, which is kind of cool, I think. I like being a graduate student. But I'm sort of both in this. A haiku is if you don't know this form very well, it's a short block of prose that is followed by haiku, which is connected with prose. Nearing retirement, I'm told that I'm being given a new office and a graduate student for an office mate, which is me. The office is large but under construction. A note on the door from maintenance says, "We're taking care of the broken fixture in the corner of the room." When I let myself in, there are large numbers of papers on the floor, dumped in heaps and piled as if ready for recycling. I go closer to study them. Old, unclaimed freshman essays. My marks in fading red ink are extensive and cover the pages top to bottom. Some of the dates on front go back to years before I was born. Tapping ashes from my pipe, a window full of snowflakes. By the way, that construction is a lot like what's going on all over our campus right now. So probably where they came from. Thank you.